Well, hello, and welcome to my latest video from lockdown London. Yes. Now, we're not talking about cycling. Yes, what a turn up for the books. We're actually talking about, we're talking about something that a few people on my videos have made comments on, and that is this thing on my wrist, which, for those people who don't know, is an Apple Watch. Now, for some reason, some people seem to think that, me being a kind of organic, vegan, contemporary Luddite wouldn't have such a thing as an Apple Watch. Well, I do have an Apple Watch and I love it. And the reason I'm talking about the Apple Watch is that recently they did an update to it. And the thing that happened on that update is when you wash your hands, you will know that you're supposed to wash your hands for 20 seconds. So when you start washing your hands, the Apple Watch very cleverly detects that you're washing your hands, and then it starts to give a countdown, and when you've done the requisite 20 seconds, there's a kind of flickering, flashing, pulsating drops of water that appear on the little Apple Watch screen here, and it says, congratulations, you've done your requisite 20 seconds washing your hands. And I thought, well, that's actually a rather clever idea. And then out of the blue, yes, I got an email from Tim Cook, or the head of Apple. It wasn't actually from Tim Cook, it was probably from one of his assistants. And it said, Dear Julian, because they're very polite at Apple, they said, we're introducing a number of additional special measures for the Apple Watch, and because your channel is so popular and because you are a well-known aficionado of Apple products, including the Apple Watch, we would like you to be the first person to show to all your viewers just what those new things are going to be able to do on the Apple Watch. And the first thing is fairly similar to the hand washing thing, and it's something we're all familiar with, and that's toothbrushing. Now, I haven't got a toothbrush with me, so this is an artist's model. No, it's not an artist's model. This is an artist's mock-up of a toothbrush. So you can imagine you're brushing your teeth like that. You're supposed to go up and down, don't you? You can brush up and down. And when you do that, the watch, yes, recognizes that you're brushing your teeth. And when you've done it for the appropriate amount of the time, which, as you will well know, if you've been to the dentist recently, is actually 27 minutes. Sorry, my piece of paper just fell down here. That's not something that the Apple Watch is supposed to be dealing with. So I'm just going to pin that back up. Bear with, as they say. So you've brushed your teeth for the requisite amount of time, which is 27 minutes, and then your Apple Watch will buzz and it'll tell you that you've finished. Now, the next thing that it can do, and this one I think is really clever, and it's mastication. No, Nigel, not what you thought I said. Mastication, for those people who are unfamiliar with it, is chewing. Yes, you will know that you're supposed to chew all your food for 194 times. Well, I'm going like that. 194, count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, etc., etc. 192, 193, 194, and bing! Your Apple Watch will make a special sound and it'll start to vibrate on your wrist, and you'll know that you can then swallow that particular mouthful of vegan sausage or whatever it is you might happen to be eating. Now, having done your mastication, you'll then want to go to the toilet. Maybe not straight away. It might take a couple of hours. It depends on your individual circumstances. If you have elderly grandparents or maiden aunts, it might take them a little bit longer. But when they go to the toilet, or you go to the toilet, and the Apple Watch, I'm sorry to get a little bit delicate now, but we are talking about health issues. You're on the toilet and you're doing your business, doing your number 2, and as you will know, you don't want to spend too long, particularly if you're of a certain age, you don't want to spend too long sitting on the toilet because it can give you piles, which are rather unpleasant, rather painful. If you don't know what they are, you can look them up on one of my other videos about it. There's a link to it down there, or you can look it up on Wikipedia. But you don't want to spend too much time on the toilet, so you're wearing your Apple Watch. Very important that you wear your watch when you go to the toilet to do your number 2, and when you've finished it, it'll start to vibrate, and that's when you know it's time to get off the toilet and put pull up your pants or your trousers or whatever it is that you're wearing, skirt, and then you wash your hands, and again for the requisite 20 seconds and so forth, and so you're ready to go. The other thing is, now this is a special edition for the Apple Watch, and you have to request this. It's not done automatically. Unfortunately, I was given it because it's something that I need, and that's arguing with your spouse. Now, if you are somebody who, particularly during lockdown, is constantly finding ways to argue with your spouse or your children, doesn't work quite so well with children, but does work with your spouse, the Apple Watch will detect, because Siri, as you know, is always listening to what you're doing. So I'm just putting my watch on here so it can start to vibrate. So Siri listens to you, and it will detect certain key words that will suggest that you're arguing with your spouse. And when you've done the arguing for a requisite amount of time, my one is set for 5 minutes, but the default figure is actually 3 hours. So if you're in lockdown, perhaps you're arguing about whose turn it is to empty the dishwasher, or whose turn it is to do the cooking, or to take the clothes out of the tumble dryer, if you're lucky to have a tumble dryer, or any other of your household chores, then when you've done that, if you have too long an argument, Siri will say, now come on, kiss and make up. Obviously you can only kiss if your spouse happens to be in your support bubble, and then you know that it's all done. The other thing is designed for the UK market, doesn't apply in the US because obviously you don't drink tea in the US, and when you do it's not real tea. But in the United Kingdom, when we drink tea, we put in a tea bag. Yes, we don't use tea leaves anymore. You'll know what a tea bag is, and if you don't know what a tea bag is, here's a kind of artist representation of a tea bag. Here's an artist representation of a cup. So you put the tea bag in, you put the hot water in. Now, you don't want to leave the tea bag in for too long. If you leave it in for too long, then the tea gets very strong. If you don't leave it in for long enough, then the tea is very weak. So the requisite amount of time is 2 minutes and 54.5 seconds. Remember that, 2 minutes 54.5 seconds. Siri knows, the watch knows, don't know how it knows, but once the tea bag is in for 2 minutes 54.5 seconds, then your watch will start to vibrate, and you'll know it's time to take the tea bag out. So I find that a very helpful one. The other one, and this one is designed for either males or females, or I've got an earlier version of this particular Apple Watch, and this was designed in the 1970s, and the way it's set up is for a male it's washing the car, and for a female it's doing the vacuum cleaning. Now obviously things have moved on a bit now, and sometimes females might wash the car, and sometimes males, not in my household obviously, might use the vacuum cleaner. If you've got a version from the 1990s, then it's set up so that your children undertake those particular tasks, and if you come from a particularly wealthy background, those tasks are usually undertaken by servants or other members of your household. And if you're the royal family, then you might have a servant for the servant of the servant, who's the servant of the vacuum cleaner servant, to make sure that that particular task is done the correct way, and also the correct amount of time. So your Apple Watch again will detect when you're washing the car, when I'm washing the car, or when your spouse or you, if you've got the later version, of doing the vacuum cleaning, and when you've done it for the requisite amount of time, then your Apple Watch will beep, and that's how you know it is done. The other thing, and many of you may be familiar with this, is you spend too much time watching YouTube videos, particularly mine. So if you get the Apple Watch that's called Julian's version, and if you put in code JH10 when you buy your Apple Watch from the Apple website or Amazon or other particular places, then you'll get the version that will say to you, okay, you started watching one of Julian's YouTube videos, you've got to the requisite amount of time, which is usually about just under half, I find. And then your watch will buzz, and in fact a message will come up on the screen say, what the hell do you think you're doing? You watched enough of this video, get off it and watch something else interesting instead. Perhaps I don't know, perhaps a cooking video, or a Joe Wicks exercise video, or something like other exercise videos are available, or perhaps a bake-off video. Yes, bake yourself some banana bread or some vegan flapjacks or something like that. Now, the final thing, and again, this is only available by special request, one of the things that lots of us are doing in lockdown, and some of us have got quite skillful at it, is the old picking of your nose. Now, you might do it with your right hand, you might do it with your left hand. If you're a left-handed nose picker, then it's important that you wear your Apple Watch on your left wrist. If you're a right-handed nose picker, then it's important that you wear your Apple Watch on your right wrist. If you want to use either finger or alternate, perhaps use your left finger for your right nostril or your right finger for your left nostril, then you're going to have to get two Apple Watches. But as long as you've done that, then the Apple Watch again will detect, there's a little icon of a nose will come up on the watch, and then it'll start beeping, and and then you'll know it's time to stop. So your Apple Watch will tell you you've done enough nose picking, and now you can reward yourself perhaps with a little bit of mastication in lockdown. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't got an Apple Watch yet, you can get one from Argos or Apple or John Lewis. And again, remember, if you put in the code JH10, you'll get the special particular versions, and you can choose when you check out your basket which particular version that you want. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Maybe next time we'll get back to talking about the real issues of the world, like cycling, for example. And in the meantime, thanks for watching, and see you next time.